Welcome to the Supreme Grammar Podcast, where you can learn to write like a Supreme Court justice, with me, Jill Barton. In this episode, our AI hosts explore how to balance the ultra-casual style of text messages, like skipping punctuation or overusing exclamation marks, with the formality expected in legal writing. Let's listen in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at some really practical stuff from guides like the Supreme Guide to Writing and the Handbook for the New Legal Writer.
That's right.
Our mission, basically, is to figure out the etiquette for emails and texts in the legal world. Super important stuff.
Absolutely. It's not just about formal briefs anymore. How you communicate digitally day to day, that's huge.
Yeah.
Really speaks to your competence, your credibility. So we're pulling out the key advice from these sources to help you get it right.
Okay, so let's dig in. These guides, they really hammer home that everything you write reflects on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In email. Well, it's often the very first impression, or just how you get work done. So how do we make sure it's a good impression? Where do we, start?
Well, it actually starts before you even write the main message. Think really carefully about that two-line. The sources are clear. Be meticulous. Precision is key. Only put people on there who need to be on there. One wrong click, that accidental reply all. You could blow confidentiality or privilege. It sounds basic, but the stakes are high.
Oh, yeah, the infamous reply all nightmare. We've all heard stories. Okay, so after we've got the subject line. That's pretty important, too.
Crucial. It needs to be short, tell you what's inside, and be helpful right away. Think about someone scrolling on their phone.
Good point.
They need to know instantly, what's this? Is it urgent? So don't just put the case name, like Smith v. Jones.
Make it more specific.
Exactly. Something like Smith v. Jones, draft discovery request, review needed by Friday. It helps everyone find things later, too, like a mini filing system.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're in the email now. Greetings. How formal do we need to be? Can I just say, hey?
Probably not in most legal contexts. The sources say your greeting really sets the tone. It respects the relationship.
Okay.
So if it's formal, maybe to a judge's clerk, a new client, you stick with Dear Miss Davis or Dear Mr. Lee, just like a traditional letter.
Yeah.
If it's opposing counsel you talk to all the time, maybe Dear Sarah is fine if you're already on a first-name basis.
And a colleague you work with closely.
On an ongoing thread, maybe just Sarah could work. It's a judgment call based on who you're talking to.
So you need to kind of gauge the situation. What about the main message? The advice seems to be keep it brief.
Get right to the point. That's key. Put the most important stuff first. Assume they might only skim the first few lines.
Especially busy lawyers, right?
Exactly. Use short paragraphs, single spacing. Bullet points or numbered lists are your friends. Anything that makes it easy to scan.
And make it obvious what you need them to do.
Yes. If you need an answer or an action, ask a clear question. Don't hide it in the middle of a dense paragraph. Put yourself in their shoes. What do they need to know?
Okay, now tone. That can be tricky in writing, can it? No body language, no voice inflection.
It's a real challenge. The sources strongly suggest leaning towards formality, especially when you're starting out.
Better safe than sorry.
Pretty much. It's not just about avoiding slang or all caps, obviously. It's being aware that short, direct sentences can sometimes sound, abrupt or even rude without meaning to. Your tone shows respect.
And proofreading goes without saying, but.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Typos, weird formatting, they just undermine you, makes you look careless.
And the closing.
Yeah.
Sincerely. Best.
Yep, stick to standard professional closings. Best regards, sincerely. Then a clean signature block. Name, firm, essential contact info. No need for inspirational quotes or huge logos.
Okay. What about attachments? Common place to slip up.
Oh, yeah. Name them clearly, like draft motion final.docs, not document1.docs. Make sure they're the right format. And please double check you actually attached the file.
We've all done that one.
If you forget, just send a quick follow-up. Apologies. Attach now.
Got it. And confidentiality. Emails feel so permanent and forwardable.
They are. You have to be incredibly careful. Emails can end up as evidence. Think twice about discussing really sensitive stuff, and always check who's on the recipient list. Don't accidentally break privilege by looping in the wrong person.
Right. Privilege labels help.
They can, but don't rely only on them. Vigilance is key.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Texts and messaging apps. They're even faster. The sources say be open, but cautious.
Exactly. Embrace the text, sure, but apply the same core principles. Even if the other person is super informal, you can still use complete sentences and proper grammar. You don't have to mirror their casual style if it doesn't feel right. Maintain your professionalism.
And that speed, it's a bit of a trap, isn't it?
It's a huge trap. It makes you want to fire off a quick response, but the sources really stress. Pause. Breathe. Reread before you hit send.
Does it say what I mean? Is it accurate? Is text even the right place for that?
Are those questions? Don't let the speed override your judgment. That's crucial.
And confidentiality on these platforms.
Just as vital, you have that duty to protect client info, make sure the platform is secure enough, and be really careful about what details you share where others might see.
Okay, let's touch on a couple of specific things mentioned in the sources. Emojis. Where do they fit in legal communication?
Generally they don't. The rule for professional legal writing, avoid them. Unless, and this is the key exception, you're quoting something where the emoji itself is legally relevant.
But courts are actually dealing with emojis now.
They are. It's fascinating. The sources point to cases where emoji meanings are debated. Are they threats? Do they show intent? It's tricky because they can look different on different devices.
Wow.
So if you have to reference one in a legal document because it's evidence, you need to describe it very carefully and explain its possible meaning, acknowledging it might be ambiguous.
Okay, so generally avoid, unless quoting. What about exclamation points?
Also generally banned in formal legal writing and best avoided in most professional emails, too. They tend to convey shouting or, excessive emotion, not the calm, reasoned tone you want.
There's that great Elmore Leonard quote one source uses.
Right. Keep your exclamation points under control. You are allowed no more than 2 or 3 per 100,000 words. A bit of hyperbole maybe, but it makes the point.
Huh. Good rule of thumb. And if you quote text with one, simple. Keep the exclamation point inside the quotation marks. Shows it was part of the original, not your addition.
So wrapping this up, whether it's thinking about that subject line, picking the right greeting, or just pausing before sending that text, these principles are really practical. Mastering this stuff isn't just about, not messing up. It's about being a clearer, more credible lawyer today.
Absolutely. Every email, every text, it's a reflection of your professionalism. And as the tech keeps changing, we have to keep adapting these principles.
Which it does make you wonder, doesn't it? And how do we keep professionalism front and center?
Definitely something to mull over as you put these tips into practice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Keeping professionalism front and center should always be a goal in legal writing. Tune in to our next podcast on how to add a memorable rhythm to your writing with parallelism, like President Lincoln did with the Gettysburg Address. And remember, you can be a great legal writer